By the end of this video, you will be able to add strands, GCOs, and SCOs to an adjusted curriculum plan. You have already completed the top part of the student's PLP adjusted curriculum and are ready to add the strand, General Curriculum Outcomes or GCOs, and Specific Curriculum Outcomes SCOs that your class is covering in the current reporting period. If you are not in edit mode, you hit the Edit This Section button. Under the Save Done Editing button on the upper left of the screen, you click on Select from Anglophone Outcomes. The Outcomes window appears. The outcomes are organized by grade level. You select your student's current grade level by clicking on the forward arrow which opens the subjects available for that grade. You then select your subject by clicking on the forward arrow. You can now see the strands available for your grade. The levels in the curriculum drill downs, once you select your subject, always go strand, GCO, SCO. You click on the forward arrow to select the strand, Speaking and Listening. Then the forward arrow to select the GCO. And finally, you select the check marks next to your current outcomes for the reporting period. In this case, SCO 1.1 and 1.2. You notice that when you select an outcome, it gets crossed off, and the GCO and strand that go with it also get crossed off. You can also see that behind the scenes, the outcomes, GCOs, and strands populate in the PLP document. For this to happen, you realize that you must always select the check mark next to the outcomes. The strand GCO and SCO can be thought of as the grandparent, parent, and child. In education, we always put the child first. In ESS Connect, we always put the SCO first. Remember to only hit the check mark next to the SCO, not the GCO or strand. You are ready to add other outcomes from another GCO. Easy. Next to the GCO, you hit the forward arrow and see that the next GCO appears. You remember, in education we always put the child first. In ESS Connect, we always put the SCO first. You tap the check mark next to the SCOs you are covering this reporting period, number 2.1 and 2.2, and move on to the next GCO using the forward arrow. Perfect. Now you want to add outcomes from the next strand, reading and viewing. So, next to the strand, Speaking and Listening, you tap the down arrow. Which turns into a forward arrow and closes up the SCOs. Next to the strand, you can now hit the forward arrow to move to the next strand, Reading and Viewing. You are reminded that in education we always put the child first. In ESS Connect, we always put the SCO first. Here you tap the forward arrow next to GCO4 to open its outcomes. and select the check mark next to the SEOs you are covering. You repeat the process for your remaining outcomes and then close the Outcomes window and scroll down on the Adjusted Curriculum page to see that your strands, goals, and outcomes have populated. Perfect. You're ready to move on to deciding whether to keep, delete, or change the outcomes, the topic of our next video in the series.